In 1832, a family of Jewish refugees fled persecution in Baghdad. Seeking safety, they traveled thousands of miles to India, a land far from home, yet full of opportunity. Within decades, they were called the Rothschilds of the East. This was the Sassoon family, a dynasty whose wealth and philanthropy reshaped a city, yet whose fortune was built on the suffering of millions. Today, we uncover the story behind the Sassoons, their rise, their power, and the shadowy empire they built. The story begins with David Sassoon, son of Sheikh Sassoon bin Salai, Baghdad's chief treasurer. As political tension turned deadly in Baghdad, David fled first to Iran, then eventually settled in Bombay, a growing British colonial port. Though he had lost much wealth in transit, David brought with him experience, connections, and a sharp eye for business opportunities. Bombay, or Mumbai as we know it today, was transforming into a bustling trade hub. David saw opportunity in cotton mills, real estate, and controversially, opium, then the most lucrative commodity in the world. By leveraging his family's global network, David began laying the foundation of a business empire that would dominate trade in Asia for decades. The Sassoons were instrumental in Bombay's rise. Their investments fueled cotton mills, transforming neighborhoods into economic powerhouses. But while the city thrived, their true wealth came from a far more sinister trade: opium. By the mid 19th century, the Sassoons controlled roughly 70% of the global opium market, exporting massive quantities from India to China. Each shipment contributed to widespread addiction and social devastation, while fueling the British economy and Sassoon fortunes. Opium was Britain's answer to trade deficits with China. While Britain wanted Chinese tea, silk, and porcelain, China demanded silver. In return, Britain's silver reserves were draining. And the Sassoons' opium trade became a profitable solution, one with devastating human consequences. The Sassoons were also famous philanthropists. They funded schools, hospitals, synagogues, and libraries, many of which still serve Mumbai's population today. Their generosity earned immense prestige and admiration, but the reality was that these acts of charity often masked the source of their wealth. Millions suffered from addiction due to the very trade that funded their philanthropy. The family's influence extended beyond India. They were granted British citizenship, invited into elite circles, and even married into the Rothschild dynasty, cementing ties between two of the most powerful Jewish banking and trading families in the world. David Sassoon understood that aligning with British imperial interests was essential. His loyalty earned protection and influence, positioning the family as indispensable partners in trade and colonial expansion. The Sassoons hosted lavish events, mingled with royalty, and shaped policies that reinforced their business dominance. Visuals in coup. Slow pan over old invitations, portraits of Reuben Sassoon with the Prince of Wales, animated timeline showing key alliances. The British victory in the Opium Wars opened China to massive opium imports. The Sassoons' business soared to unprecedented heights, shipping tens of thousands of chests annually. This trade not only enriched them, but expanded their influence globally, allowing them to invest in real estate, banking, and international ventures. Visuals, Q, graph, showing Sassoon profits in relation to British India's GDP, archival footage of Shanghai port and streets. The next generation diversified. Albert Sassoon invested in shipping, insurance, American railroads, and European real estate. They adopted technologies like the telegraph and steamships to manage their empire. Yet, despite their global reach, opium remained the foundation of their wealth. Their prestige was unmatched. Albert received the Freedom of London, the first Jewish person to achieve this honor. Visuals U. Overlay, infographic connecting Sassoon investments across continents. However, internal strife began eroding the empire. Disputes split the Sassoon enterprise into rival companies, and later generations lost interest in active management. detached from the hard work of commerce. Some descendants even mock the family's origins, distancing themselves from the very empire that built their fortune. Visuals, cue, animated sequence showing the split between David Sassoon and Co. and Ed Sassoon and company with contrasting wealth and influence levels. Victor Sassoon relocated Ed Sassoon and Co. to Shanghai, becoming a leading real estate magnate. His properties were valued at $1.5 billion in today's money. Beyond business, he played a critical role in sheltering over 20,000 Jewish refugees fleeing Nazi persecution, a rare humanitarian contribution amidst a complex legacy. Yet, nationalization by China ended the Sassoon presence in Shanghai, marking the decline of their empire. Visuals cue slow zoom on Sassoon's Shanghai mansion, refugees arriving at docks, newspaper clippings of Chinese nationalization. The Sassoons were a paradox, a family that reshaped cities, advanced philanthropy, and wielded immense global influence, yet whose wealth came from trade that caused untold human suffering. Their empire eventually faded, not through war or conquest, but through internal conflict, changing times, and evolving morals. Some historians suggest that fortunes like theirs never truly disappear. They resurface under new names, quietly shaping the world from behind the scenes. If you've made it this far, leave a flower emoji in the comments and explore our video on the Rothschilds to uncover another empire built at the intersection of wealth, influence, and human cost.